Hello and welcome back to the Gate series. Today we're going to be focused on Gate 24. The Gate 24 is also the Gene Key 24 as well as the 24th hexagram in the Chinese I Ching. Gate 24 is located in the Ajna center, as you can see on this human design body graph. This is called the Gate of Rationalizing. It is located in channel 6124. That is called the design of a thinker. Gate 24 is part of the individual circuitry within the chart. Human design has several different types of circuitry. There's individual, collective, and tribal circuitry. And the individual circuitry is really about empowering self and others. Collective circuitry has an energy of sharing and contribution, and the tribal circuitry is focused more on a supportive energy. Just to give a little bit of flavor to that, not go into too much depth there for this video. So the 24th gate or gene key is about inventiveness or invention or even innovation. So this energy is so powerful. If you have this activated in your chart, I'm just really excited for you to listen to this, to learn more about it. You may know someone that has this activation in their chart. I know someone personally that has this placement as their life purpose. And man, I can tell you that this is deeply resonant for this person's path. And I've witnessed it in their life. So the 24th hexagram is called the returning, and this is a process of walking your own path and always returning home to self. It's this return that happens over and over again throughout your life. So imagine this energy of return as sort of a quality like your breath, like breathing in and breathing out. It can also feel like a process of course correction sometimes, like the metaphor of a plane flying from point A to point B. They're off course about 90% of the time, but they're always correcting and they always land in their destination, or almost always, right? The gate 24 is about motion. So as you travel in your path, you will have companions that walk with you. And remember, if someone is meant to be in your life, they will come to your side naturally. You will never need to go after or pursue them. They will find you on your path and join you. This is part of that 24th hexagram energy. The 24th gate is also the 24th gene key in the gene keys. And the gift essence or energy is the signature of invention. The shadow of the 24th gene key is addiction. And the highest expression or the city of the 24 is silence. So let's explore the shadow of the 24. The shadow of the 24 is addiction. And this shadow can manifest in repetitive, self-limiting thinking that we are often not even aware that we're participating in. Addictive thinking can limit our ability to make change for the better. This shadow pattern can have us stuck in endless looping thought patterns and just these patterns that we struggle to get out of. The shadow frequency creates a resonance within our mind and body that locks us in to our comfort zone. Richard Rudd says that all modes of thinking are addictive. Addiction can be driven by the astral body's desire to commune and connect with all, because we all have this wounding imprint of the sense that we are disconnected and separate, just part of being in our bodies. So the mind attempts to resolve the suffering with thinking and basing satisfaction, fulfillment, and happiness in the future, while the only way to end this addictive pattern is with silence. It is with silencing the mind. So there are natural or innate gaps in the cycle of the shadow of addiction. And when we can recognize those gaps, which feel like this profound sensation of emptiness, and be in those gaps, we can break this cycle. The more we practice the silencing of the mind, the more we can allow for the potential of the shadow frequency to break its hold and propel us into the gift state of invention. This process is one that Richard Rudd describes as starving the astral body of external stimulation and confronting your grasping mind. So the shadow energy in any gate or key always it can be expressed in either two ways typically. It's either in a repressive way or a reactive fashion. So the repressive shadow expression of the 24th key is this frozenness. So there's when a gap occurs in that repressive response to freeze, or okay, let me word that a little better. So when we have a a freeze response from fear, because fear is the root of the repressive shadow manifestation, and then the reactive shadow response and the way that it expresses itself is typically rooted in anger, while the repressive is rooted in fear. Hopefully that's a little bit more clear. So in the repressive nature of this, there is this fear that causes us to freeze, and it's this fear that is really terrified of fully allowing in that sense of emptiness that I described. And this can actually start to build up and have us experiencing this depression and a lack of energy and even this like narrow-mindedness. So repression with an addictive behavior can look like escaping through numbing out via a variety of methods like alcohol or what, fill in the blank. So the reactive expression of the shadow frequency of addiction is anxiousness. So this is like responding to that emptiness with activity and being and doing and being just really, really busy. It can be like overworking and just being driven from this sense of unending anxiety. Now, the gift of the 24th gate, 24th gene key, is invention. And I can tell you from personal experience of witnessing someone close in my life really being able to harness the gift of this frequency and also really struggling with the shadow aspect of this gate, that there is true brilliance that lies within the gift of invention in the 24th gate. This gift can be experienced by resting in that gap, the natural gap. Richard Rudd talks of this gap between being for anywhere from a few seconds to several days. Now, these gaps can feel destabilizing if they're not fully surrendered to and are a sensitive time. They're like a window of opportunity. Richard Rudd uses the metaphor addiction thinks in circles, where invention thinks in spirals. When the gap is utilized, we can create access to new, original, and magical ways of thinking that create true inventiveness. So, people with the 24 activated are really innovative thinkers. And if we can shift that frequency and allow ourselves to not fear that gap in our mind and allow for more silence, the 24 is I would say that almost a direct access point for this gate to be experienced in its gift frequency is through meditation. And it can be sitting in silence. It can also be through walking meditation, like whatever way of meditation calls to you and your soul. It doesn't have to be sitting on a pillow in like silence, right? But whatever can support the fostering and nurturing the silence in your mind. So this experience of, like Richard Rudd says, invention is really creative addiction. Ooh, this is interesting. So this is so lovely because this resonates with the experience of so many creatives that have struggled with addiction. And if we have the knowledge and awareness of these inner workings, we can empower ourselves to spiral up instead of staying in the loop. The practice of allowing for silence and confronting the mind's grasping while becoming aware of those natural gaps in our thinking can give us the opportunity to open doors of incredible genius and innovative creativity.